Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new 2020 Netflix original film, Over the Moon. I do not remember who directed this. This is a director and a co-director, but they're both animators from Disney and Pixar. So I didn't know anything about this movie going into this. I kept seeing it blowing up my feed on all socials, and a lot of people kept saying, "Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this." And I'm like, all right, but like I didn't even know it existed. So I see like screenshots, and it's got like these like neon characters, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm all for neon characters. The main character is this Asian girl. I had no idea where she's from. Is she Korean? Is she Japanese? Is she Vietnamese? Turns out she's Chinese. I had no idea, but I watched this film, and the only word that comes to mind to describe it, one word, two syllables: gorgeous. Holy shit. Comma, holy shit. This film was gorgeous. And why I say that, let me turn my TV off. It was breathtaking. There were moments in this film, and I'm like, now I don't have surround sound on my TV in my room. I honestly went like this, thinking I heard things from the movie that like passed. And I'm like, oh, your mind plays tricks on you when you watch this, because the way the animators have this story of this place called Lunaria on the moon, it's extremely neon, and it's extremely bright and vivid with colors, but then there's a stark black background of the night sky, of space with stars scattered. So you have a distinct contrast of colors that brings your focus lightning speeded right to the screen. You're like laser focused. But then that also helps with your hearing, because, and I know it's weird saying this, there's a lot of psychological facts to this film, because when you're so focused on one thing, your other senses have to adapt, right? Like, why is it that a blind person can hear better? It's because they have lost their sight, which is a sense, so their other senses have to amplify to try to help as much as it can, kind of a thing. It's just what your body does naturally. So for your vision to be so tunneled into this neon gorgeousness of perspective, your other senses are amplifying. So I'm getting chills every time, something flies by a screen, and I think I'm hearing these biker chicks, literally chickens on bikes, hysterical, neon chickens on bikes, zipping past, and then Bungie with her lightning bunny ears going vzz, and then it bouncing everywhere, and you're like, wait, is it bouncing? Like, I am so impressed with the animation, the sound design, the special effects. Just I had no expectations for this movie, because I didn't know anything about it, and it is something I am going to be praising until my last breath, and then some, because we have this recording. Amazing, gorgeous. So the story, after I just praised the hell out of it, is this girl, Fei. She lives in China with her mom and her dad, modern times, and oh, this is also a musical, by the way. Again, I had no idea. Gorgeous songs. And her mama and Baba would tell her stories about Chang'e, who is the moon goddess. Now, I'm familiar with Artemis and Diana. I'm sorry. Yeah. The goddess of the moon in Greek and Roman, right? But I'm not familiar with other moon goddesses. So Chang'e being a moon goddess, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, sure. Moon goddesses are very caring, and they are heartfelt, but they're also fierce and stoic when need be. So like I'm all for, another moon goddess story. So Chang'e being another moon goddess, she's been cast up to the moon. That's where she lives, because her the love of her life, Hui, H-E-U-Y-I, Hui, I think that's how you say it. He has passed, and she has an immortality, but he does not have immortality because he was mortal. So it was a whole god human love story kind of a thing, goddess human love story thing. But so that's the stories. So Fei-Fei's mom eventually passes away, and you're like, wait a minute, this looks like a Disney Pixar film. It feels like a Disney Pixar film. Makes sense because it's directors from Disney Pixar films in the past. But do they actually not kill the parents? That there's actually going to be two parents throughout this entire movie? I was wrong. The mother passes away. Tragic scene of her being sick and fading and pale and things. Beautiful songs. Fei-Fei obviously is devastated. And then eventually, 4 years later, the time goes on. Fei-Fei grows up. And her father is now dating this new woman who she's not so happy about, who Fei-Fei's not so happy about. And the new woman has a younger son, Chin. And Chin is an 8-year-old boy. And Fei-Fei doesn't want change. She doesn't want her father to remarry. She doesn't want a younger brother. She just wants her dad, and her bunny Bungie to, make the same moon cakes that they always do for the town and to celebrate the moon festival. So eventually there's a blowout at the moon festival, and Fei-Fei decides to build a rocket to get to the moon, which then Chin happens to hitch a ride on along with Bungie the bunny, and Croaky, his Chin's frog. Chin is also a ping pong player. She calls him a dingbat. It's a fun little dynamic that they have. They eventually get to the moon. They get to Lunaria. The lion dragons of the moon goddess, bring them there, and then Chang'e is very insistent that Fei-Fei brought a gift for Chang'e, and Fei-Fei doesn't have the gift, so she has to go back to the crash site, find the gift. All of these things happen. It turns out that Fei-Fei was the gift herself, and the moon goddess goes back into another depression, back into the darkness, after we meet this globby character, hysterical. Excuse me. And she tries to have her Jade Rabbit make a potion, again, going to the myths, to bring Kuei back, but he doesn't fully come back because he says, you have to move on. Our love is forever, but you have to move on. And then that's a revolving theme, When a loved one dies, you don't have to forget them. You will always remember them. They'll always be with you because you remember them. But you have to move on. You have to move to the future. The past brings you to the present. The present is now. And what you do in the present dictates what happens in the future. So we can't live in the past. We can only move forward. And I love that. I love seeing that in different stories. I try my hardest to live by that mantra. It's very difficult, but to see it represented with this 13, 14-year-old girl, devastated that she doesn't want change, she doesn't want her father to remarry, she doesn't want a younger brother, but she knows that she needs to make sure that she's not selfish, that her father needs to be happy as well. So if remarrying and making sure that Fei-Fei is a part of her father's life, Baba's life, then that's still good. That's still okay because she's still part of her family. So it's amazing reconciliation with Chang'e and Fei-Fei, and then Chin and Fei-Fei and everybody going back, and Bungie staying on the moon with Jade Rabbit, and the music was incredible. I'm so enamored with this movie. I plan on watching it many, many times. And for Netflix to do a Disney style, to do a Disney film as a Netflix film, amazing. So I expect nothing less moving forward for future Netflix animated feature films. I am so happy and proud to see non-white stories being represented. Representation matters. I am so sick of watching white kids do things. White kids have white stories. We've seen that for hundreds of years. It is time for every other culture to get the spotlight. That's how it is. I'm so happy to see the main actress. I'm so happy to see that the whole cast is Asian, for that matter. But I'm so happy to see the main character is a Chinese girl, speaking Mandarin sometimes, speaking English other times. But it was representation matters. Hashtag representation matters. So watch this film, Netflix right now. Over the Moon. You're going to love it. You might cry. Keep tissues with you, just in case. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Mucho mahalo.